Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that everything you believe belongs to you is actually nothing more than an idea that people collectively agreed upon. Your house, your car, the money in your bank account, even the land beneath your feet. What if none of it truly belongs to you? In the modern world, everything has a boundary. The walls of your home, the fence around your property, the borders of your country, the numbers in your bank account. From the moment we are born, we are taught a simple rule. This is mine. That is yours. The idea is so deeply embedded in our minds that questioning it feels almost impossible. We naturally assume that land, houses, and objects can be owned. But for most of human history, things were very different. For thousands of years, people did not think of themselves as owners of the land they lived on. Rivers, forests, and hunting grounds were not commodities to be bought or sold. They were shared parts of a world that everyone belonged to. So what changed? How did we begin drawing invisible lines? How did borders on maps become important enough for millions of people to fight and die over them? And why has the fear of losing what we own become one of the greatest anxieties of modern life? What if I told you that one of humanity's greatest illusions is built upon this very idea? The same idea that fueled wars, divided societies, turned people against one another, and trapped us in an endless pursuit of ownership. The concept of property itself. Today, we will explore how this invisible chain was created, how it reshaped civilization, and why it continues to control our lives even now. For countless generations, humans lived on this planet, but they never imagined that they owned it. For hundreds of thousands of years, nothing truly belonged to anyone. When our ancestors looked at the land, they did not see property. They saw life itself. Forests, rivers, and open plains were not divided by maps. There were no borders, no deeds, no walls. When a fruit tree was found, its harvest belonged to the group. When a hunter succeeded, the meat was shared with the entire tribe. Survival depended not on ownership, but on cooperation. For early human societies, the most valuable asset was not land. It was each other. The idea of mine existed far less than it does today, because there was very little to own. And perhaps that is why, for most of human history, there were no property disputes, no border conflicts, and no vast inequalities of wealth. Then, something changed. Around 12,000 years ago, humans began to settle in one place. Agriculture emerged. People no longer relied solely on what nature provided. They planted seeds, cultivated crops, and started planning for the future. And with that, a new idea was born. A person who spent months cultivating a field began to see that land as their own. As the philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau would later write, The first man who fenced off a piece of land and said, "This is mine," was the true founder of civilization. Perhaps it was never a single individual, but someone, somewhere, began drawing invisible lines. This is my field. This is my harvest. This is my land. And for the first time in human history, the world stopped being a shared home and became something that could be owned. Before the idea of property emerged, humanity lived in a world that now feels almost impossible to imagine. One person could not become 100, 1,000, or 1,000,000 times richer than another, because there was very little that could truly be owned. And more importantly, in a nomadic world, accumulating possessions did not make you freer. It made you heavier. Anything you could not carry became a burden. Owning more than you needed had little value. That is why status in early human societies was not measured by possessions. It was measured by contribution. The most respected individuals were not those who owned the most. They were the best hunters, the wisest elders, the most skilled guides, and the most generous members of the group. Because survival depended on cooperation, not competition. The success of one individual often meant the success of everyone. Then, invisible lines appeared, and for the first time in human history, people began looking at the same land through different eyes. Some owned, others did not. Some accumulated, others watched. At that moment, humanity quietly split into two groups: those who had and those who wanted. Over time, the divide grew wider. Land expanded, wealth accumulated, and invisible lines slowly transformed into walls. The first fences rose, the first gates were closed, the first locks were invented. Because there was now something to protect: property. But history carried a hidden irony. Today, we believe that the things we own make us free. We spend the best years of our lives, our time itself, chasing bigger houses, newer possessions, and more luxurious cars. But let's be honest, do you own those possessions? Or do those possessions own you? Perhaps true freedom is not found in having more. Perhaps freedom is the ability to live without constantly needing more. Perhaps it is the ability to return, at least for a moment, to that ancient and unburdened state of mind, one that existed long before borders, walls, and ownership defined our lives. A mind that no fence can enclose. A mind that no map can divide. A mind that simply exists. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.